Like the show itself, WandaVision's future is unpredictable and chaotic. Does Marvel, however, have any intention of continuing the story of everyone's favorite Avengers after Season 1? Kevin Feige, the head of Marvel, has been notably evasive on a hypothetical WandaVision Season 2 or, for that matter, any of the new superhero shows coming to Disney+. The number of seasons for each show will vary, Feige did say in a conversation with Variety last year. Some television programs were created with the intention of developing our narrative before moving into films. We've already made Olsen's involvement in Doctor Strange 2 known. Teyonah Parris, who plays Monica Rambeau in WandaVision, has been confirmed to appear in Captain Marvel 2. What does this entail for WandaVision, then? One of the wonderful things about streaming is that the restrictions are lax, which allows you to just follow your creativity wherever you want to go. There are certain series that, while always connected, are being developed with numerous seasons in mind. Join us as we speak with the Coven and determine what might be in store for a potential second season because the rules are exceptionally lenient when it comes to WandaVision. WandaVision Season 2 release date. When will it return on Disney+? Although a second season of WandaVision has not yet been confirmed. Now that Doctor Strange 2 has concluded, more time may be devoted to developing the plot. Along with Kristen Ritter, who plays Jessica Jones, Patrick Fugit, Lily Rabe, and the cast members of Almost Famous and Love and Death, Olsen is currently working on the miniseries Love and Death. The actual account of Texas housewife Candy Montgomery, who brutally murdered her friend Betty Gore with an axe in 1980, will be released in 2022 by the makers of Big Little Lies and The Undoing. Paul Bettany, who starred with her in WandaVision, has been chosen to play the lead opposite Claire Foy from The Crown in the second season of the BBC drama A Very British Scandal. The Duke and Duchess of Argyll's divorce in 1963, one of the most scandalous court cases in British history, is the subject of this book. Following that project, Bettany will work on the comedy drama Harvest Moon, which he also co-wrote. As a result, he will be committed to both of those projects for a time. However, there was good news in October when it was discovered that the program's creator and head writer Jack Schiefer had been lined up to create and executive produce a spin-off show about fan-favorite character Agatha Harkness. This might imply a very long wait for a second season of WandaVision. There isn't much information available at this time other than the fact that Kathryn Hahn will reprise her role as the witchy Agatha for a darkly humorous series, according to Variety. It might be a prequel, revealing all the sinister deeds Agatha committed before she met Wanda, or it could begin from where WandaVision left off, with Agatha imprisoned in the village of Westview as the housewife Agnes. We haven't seen the last of Agatha, according to Hahn. She said earlier this year to Gold Derby, she has a lot of interesting qualities, in my opinion. Throughout the comics, she interacts with a wide range of universes. That would be a blast to explore, said the man. She's a decades-old witch and has seen a lot, and there are a lot of different individuals and beings that she's crossed paths with over the last couple of centuries. WandaVision Season 2 cast, who will be in it? It's impossible to say for certain who will return in Season 2 at this time given how reality changes so frequently in WandaVision. It's difficult to say because the series' conclusion of the drama seems to have erased everyone who was explicitly connected to Westview, including Wanda's version of Vision and their 2 children. The specifics would truly rely on the plot of the new episodes. But for now, here is a list of every significant character who might return in a potential Season 2. Elizabeth Olsen is Wanda Maximoff, Scarlet Witch. Paul Bettany is Vision, White Vision. Deborah Jo Rupp is Mrs. Hart. Fred Melamed is Arthur Hart. Kathryn Hahn is Agnes Divided By. Agatha Harkness. Teyonah Parris is Monica Rambeau, Photon. Kat Dennings is Darcy Lewis. Randall Park is Jimmy Woo. Emma Caulfield is Dottie Jones. Evan Peters is Fake Pietro. Ithamar Enriquez is Commercial Man. Victoria Blade is Commercial Woman. Aaron Taylor Johnson could return to the Quicksilver role at some point now that Evan Peters' Pietro has been exposed as a fake. Paul Bettany hinted at the possibility of a second season during an earlier interview with Esquire in which he said that a well-known Marvel character might make an appearance at the end of Season 1. Fans were scrambling to figure out who it might have been, with Benedict Cumberbatch being one of the top candidates. Of course, we now see that Bettany was actually playing a joke on all of us. In addition to not appearing at the very end, Bettany later acknowledged that he was playing around. We questioned whether something was wrong when we first met the 2 different visions in the post-credit scene of Episode 8. When do you say anything because you believe it will be funny? Then you start to feel anxious about it. Since I took that action during an appearance on Good Morning America, he admitted. Fans began speculating about who it might be, and some suggested names like Patrick Stewart or Benedict Cumberbatch. That's a terrific concept. My God, I was thinking. And when they learn that it's me, they'll be devastated. However, given Bettany's strong performance throughout, particularly in the more moving scenes, we can't be too disappointed. And according to the show's creator, Jack Schiefer, she was worried that one of those sequences, the final time Wanda and Vision shared a kiss, would be omitted. She told the Daily Princetonian, "Goodbye scene is the thing that still moves me and I kind of can't get over that." The writing was done fairly early. Its basic idea was in my initial pitch. I wasn't sure it would make it through the creation of the series. However, the notion of what will he be next was conceived very early on when Vision was talking about all the things he had been. It's incredibly nice to me since Paul Bettany and I both adore one another as people. The show's focal point is without a doubt that sequence. She continued by outlining how the series' timing had benefited it. The actual moment, in my opinion, has nothing to do with me and is just this point in time. Everyone has been craving this for so long, especially since the MCU hasn't released anything new for a full year. Everyone is confined to their homes, and the piece's themes reflect our contemporary situation as a society. Grief is the subject. It deals with loss. It is about turning to entertainment for comfort. That very moment is what we are experiencing right now. So, I believe it's all just luck. WandaVision Season 2 plot. What will the second season be about? Elizabeth Olsen said, I guess the answer is that could. When Collider questioned whether Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness would serve as WandaVision's second season. Even while that's a bit ambiguous, it hints that Wanda will probably continue to be more prominent in the narrative. The effects of Doctor Strange too strongly imply that her story isn't finished. The Scarlet Witch was reading the Darkhold book as she floated in the air when we left her in WandaVision. When Billy's voice screamed, "Help, help me," she did some really insane things as a result. She transitioned from a distraught wife and mother who had lost her ready-made family in WandaVision to a multifaceted monster in another reality when she tried to take her kids from herself. Wanda adopted the evil ways after being corrupted by the Darkhold and killed everyone who stood in her way of rescuing Billy and Tommy. This featured the Illuminati from Earth 838, who were responsible for Professor X's horrifying death. Though redemption eventually knocks, Wanda's level of depravity is unknown, despite the fact that she finally saw her folly and destroyed the Darkhold. Are there any Avengers treatment facilities? A hotline someone assist this witch. However, the query of where Vision is still remains unanswered. With Agatha now having her own spin-off, she will undoubtedly have Agatha to deal with, but we anticipate Wanda's continuation tale to be far more substantial than that. You can't kill Professor X, hunt down teenagers, and ruin entire universes before giving yourself a pat on the back. Even while there hasn't been a formal announcement that Olsen will remain in the MCU, it's obvious that she shares our enthusiasm. It's odd that no one has informed me that I'm doing anything, but I'm anticipating to return, the actress said. I'm just assuming that they'll have me again in my head. I'm hoping to be back, but I'm not sure in what capacity. I'm hoping that anything new will likewise be more enjoyable. Where are we going? I think we've accomplished a lot with her. The last few years with her have been quite crazy. Michael Waldron, the author of Doctor Strange 2, is less certain about her coming back, saying, "The Darkhold in every world, which was guarding Wanda in every universe from being tempted by the Darkhold, was destroyed by some sort of sacrifice she made. Whether she is actually deceased or not is unknown. Wanda's reality warping abilities make her the ideal bridge between these two realms now that the X-Men are poised to enter the MCU, so don't be shocked if this plays a role at some time as well. Then there are Billy and Tommy to think about. While their parallel timelines may have persisted, there may be room for them in the upcoming Young Avengers superhero team once they reach adulthood. Marvel has been teasing the arrival of this venerable gang on screen for a while. In WandaVision Season 2, it wouldn't take much to accelerate their aging process and transform them into full-fledged Avengers. Season 2 will undoubtedly have a movie-related theme. When the spin-off series was first announced, Kevin Feige informed Variety that these episodes will collide with the movies in a very big way. We get to play around with and investigate a completely new type of narrative. The movies and the episodes will cross paths in both directions. Similarly, the seasons to come will cross paths with the films. The emotional narrative started by the MCU's first season will likewise be continued in Season 2. Olsen told Variety that her character was always this emotional tie to a piece of the tale, which was both fortunate and stressful. If there is a heart, it was like that. In those films, Paul and I were the only couple with a fully developed romance. I simply handled it like any other situation. After that, the Avengers filming is a lot of fun. It's therefore really silly, and the Russos are terrific. Therefore, it seems like we are having a good time and winning the day in the end. However, reinvesting is the main focus of the mental game. Am I correct? You just hope that the quality control will continue, but as more products are produced, you start to worry about it. After learning from her prior streaming experience, Olsen will pay particular attention to Season 2's storytelling and ensure that it maintains the high standard of Season 1. Particularly because I produced a written Facebook program and didn't like how they handled it. And it was difficult. After the second season, we literally went back and held meetings with the administrators of Facebook Watch to discuss how we thought they could be improved. For them, we prepared an entire presentation. They eventually said, "We're not doing scripted anymore," after that. I therefore didn't have the best time taking part in the debut of a different streaming service. I was therefore anxious about the Disney Plus aspect as well as the idea of bringing these well-known characters to television. However, Kevin Feige assured us that they would not skimp on quality and would make every effort to pay close attention to every detail, which they did. And because these first 3 concerts they released were defining a new thing for them, I believe it was crucial for them to have that care for them. We received care as a result. My contracts were always for 2 or 3 movies at a time. I never had a 6-movie or 9-movie affair, in my opinion, as we move forward with the reinvestment. Therefore, it's always a very deliberate choice. On a Wednesday, Wandavision came to an end, and on a Friday, I took a flight to London to continue playing this role. However, there were quite different ways to use the character, and if we hadn't just wrapped, people would have had more time to comprehend Wandavision. I could have used some help getting out of that attitude. And Wanda and the crew can undoubtedly be expected to advance. Just a lot of we covered this in Wandavision statements. The question is always, what can I receive from this trip with this character that maybe I haven't tapped into yet with her? Because it's broader than me and there are many threads that are continuing on after me that I'm not aware of. That's the perspective I constantly adopting in order to feel like I have some type of strap hang. To be able to know that there will be growth of some sort, even though it might all appear to be the same to others. The purposeful choice to discover something new about this woman, or even about myself as an actor, is something I can bring to the role. WandaVision spin-off Agatha, Coven of Chaos, when will it air? While WandaVision Season 2 may not be in the works, it's encouraging to hear that the spin-off is moving forward. The series, which was formerly known as Agatha, House of Harkness, has been renamed Agatha, Coven of Chaos and is scheduled to premiere in the winter of 2023. Han is, of course, reprising her role as Agatha Harkness, the cunning witch with the sassy theme song. Little is known about the plot, in typical Marvel fashion, although it probably involves her escape from Westview and the mental crate Wanda has put her in. We do know that Dottie Jones will be played by Emma Caulfield again in the spin-off by Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We're eager. Do you? WandaVision Season 2 trailer. When can we see a promo? There is currently no trailer for WandaVision because a second season has not yet been confirmed. Take a trip back in time with the vintage sitcom throwbacks that Season 1 does such a good job of handling while we wait for footage from upcoming episodes. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more.